If you want to support the channel, you can use code tablemon to get 5% off at Potent Store for your online codes, 10% off for your sealed product at Flipside Gaming, and 10% off on your aluminum accessories at TC Evolutions. Or if you're looking to buy singles or sleeves, you can fill up your cart and close the tab, then click on the affiliate link in the description and check out. That way you can support the channel over at TCG Player, Card Market, and Dragon Shield. ¿Eres de México y necesitas cartas de Pokémon? Busca Hyperbeam Cards en Facebook e Instagram. Y si estás en Tijuana, búscalos en el local C27 en el centro comercial Otay. Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video here at Tablemon. Today we're going to be doing something different, as the title of the video does say. As you're watching this, I'm recording this in the past, but you're watching this in the future. I am currently playing, hopefully, in the finals of the Brazil regional in Curitiba. Now, this is only the second time ever that I'm traveling to a regional in Latin America, not because I don't want to play in the region. Obviously, Mexico is part of Latin America, but quite simply because of distances. The distance between where I live, Mexico City, and the distance where most of the tournaments are held in Brazil or in Chile is where the other regional happens. It's just so far away. It's the same distance as I traveled to Europe, all right, which is obviously not easily accessible either. And so it's much easier for me to travel and compete in North America. However, this time around, because of many different circumstances, I am at that tournament and hopefully getting a good result. So today I'm going to be talking about the two decks that I'm currently considering to play. Disclaimer, of course, the list might change a little bit. I might even not play any of these decks, but as of today, Tuesday, 19th September, as I'm recording this, these are the two decks that are my number two choices in order to compete and play at the tournament. And number one is Lost Zone Giratina. Now, I know I did say at Worlds, or after my Worlds run, that I was done with the Lost Zone, that I didn't want to play it ever again. Turns out I've played it since. At League Cups and League Challenges, I've played a few Lost Box decks here and there. Still feeling uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable with every deck in general, but this deck, I think, has it all. It reminds me a little bit of what Lost Box Rayquaza Raikou was. You had one-hit KOs with Rayquaza, you have one-hit KOs with Giratina, you had bench damage with Raikou and Sableye, we have bench damage with Radiant Greninja and Sableye, you have Cramorant for free pressure, and then you have the Lost Zone engine, which relies on Comfey, and of course Comfey, even if you have a dead hand, you're taking a look at your top deck and then the next two cards, right? So you're not as dead as, okay, if I top deck here, this makes or breaks the game, whatever you top deck, and then the next two cards can potentially bail you out. Now, the one big highlight of this list is most certainly the three Pokegears. Now, I did play a League Cup this past weekend where I only had two. I think the difference between 2 and 3 might be negligible to where I might benefit. I think that's the one card that I'm thinking of switching around. Could be a fourth switch card, could be Manaphy back in the list, could be second Iono as well, could be an extra Grass Energy, or it could be a switch, or even a third Escape Rope, or a fourth Nespel. So a lot of spaces there. Everything else in the list I'm pretty set on for the most part, but that's the one card that I've been floating around. Currently it's the third Pokegear. I think that's a little influenced right now with how I've been running. I haven't been running too hot. I've been averaging less than 10 championship points per local event that I've played before and after Worlds, which is pretty brutal, honestly. I used to dominate these events. It was fairly straightforward and simple for me to get championship points, and there's definitely a lot more people playing. There's a higher level in Latin America, not just in Mexico. But my locals are getting tougher and tougher, and every round is a grind, right? And add on to that I've prized Manaphy in key instances, and then best of one is very punishing for that. I've prized Manaphy when playing Gardevoir so many times against Turbo Lost Box and Giratina. They just get the turn to Greninja and completely demolish me. I've prized Cresselia as well in the Gardevoir Mirror match, and then whiffed Boss's Orders in a 12-card deck where I go Curlia, Greninja, Gardevoir with 2 Boss's Orders in the deck, and they remain in the bottom 4 cards. So I do feel like I've been in a little bit of a downswing. Hopefully that's over. I did get second place at the Cup. I lost the final pretty brutally. Once again, not getting to play in 2 of the 3 games, and the game that I did get to play, I won pretty convincingly. But yeah, that's currently my situation. I think that has led me to shift towards the Poke Gears and try to compensate a little bit with this extra outs. I feel like the Poke Gears definitely have merit, as you're more likely to be able to Roxanne at the right time, you're able to boss at the right time, and hopefully get to call risk more on average. So that's part of the reasoning. The third one might be a little too on the, like, I'm afraid of dead drawing side, so that third one is definitely my flexible spot. And yeah, outside of that, the deck is pretty straightforward. This deck also has comeback potential, which I really like, between Roxanne, Iono, and also Path to a Peak. Very disruptive, of course. So this is where I'm at with Lost Zone Giratina. This is my number 1 choice going into the event, so I might be playing this as you are watching. And then my second choice is Gardevoir, right? Gardevoir, pretty straightforward list, nothing too special, just straightforward Guardy, trying to set up. Does have the Mirage Step Curlia to make sure that I can set up in case of a slow or bad hand, so I can get those Curlias going and make sure I have a strong enough setup against any deck, whether I get a strong start or not. That's one thing that I think was definitely big overlooked in the beginning when Gardevoir came out. I definitely did not like the Mirage Step. I'm still iffy on it, but I recognize how it can be potentially very good in a lot of circumstances where your start isn't very strong. Yeah, so it's a way to compensate for when you don't draw those early battle VIP passes to fully explode onto the board. And then the other nice niche card in the list is the Champions Festival. Champions Festival is a very controversial card. We did see Fabian Pujol use this very effectively on stream at the Barcelona special event, which was really impressive. That really caught my eye. I had been thinking about the card for a while now, and now that HPs are getting higher and higher with each new set, and now we have Charizard EX to deal with, and Gardevoir really needs to trade 1 for 2 with your Gardevoir against them, then the Champions Festival is a really cool card. You get to power up 6 energies onto the Gardevoir and through Gardevoir EX's ability, and then you get a 7th of the ability with Champions Festival, and then you combine that with Reversal Energy or previous attachments or even a lucky hit with Shiny Arcana, and all of a sudden you are 1-hit KOing those big HP Pokemon with 9 or 8 energies a lot more easily. So that's why the Champions Festival is in the list. I'm happy with the list. It runs fairly straightforward. It does have the 4 stadium counters in Lost Vacuum, Champions Festival, Artisan, and Collapse Stadium. I have debated on whether I should be playing Worker instead of the Collapse Stadium, as Worker is also recyclable with Pulp Pad, so that's the one other card that I'm thinking of switching. I feel like Box of Disaster is a very niche card that isn't seeing a lot of play right now, and if you see it come down, you can maybe play around it. It's not like decks are committing 2 or 3 spaces to the card. So the Lost Vacuum for Worker is something that's on the back of my mind, especially since I am running double research that can get a little destructive a little quickly with the stadiums or an awkward combination of cards in hand with the reversals and whatnot. I could also shift to 1 Worker, 1 Professor's Research as well, which doesn't take away the chance of having a destructive research. It does reduce the chance of you getting like a strong research in the middle of the game to really advance your setup. So those are the little things that I'm debating. Those last spots, sometimes those are the hardest to figure out. Yeah, everything else is pretty standard. It's consistency. It's the Pokemon lines. You can't move that. But those little technical changes could affect your run big time, right? And Worker is a big anti-path card. So is Lost Vacuum, but Worker provides draw. Lost Vacuum provides deck thinning in a way. Early on, you'd rather have Worker most likely, and you can recycle the Worker. I think that's another important thing to consider. Not sure. This is like my second choice. It's a little bit behind Giratina as of right now. And yeah, just wanted to go over these two decks. Hopefully I did well. Hopefully I got streamed. Hopefully I made day 2. Hopefully this is the beginning of a very cool and successful 2023-2024 season for me. My first major of the season, which I'm very happy to be playing LATAM. I love Brazil. I love going there. And I hope to be back many, many times in the near and further future. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.